Alright, welcome back. Going ahead and do a little checking on the X-Maxxes again today. So what I've done is pulled out a tool, GA3640. It's made by Snap-on, of course, and it's a dial indicator. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to attach this, which there's a bunch of attachment devices. You go ahead and slip this thing onto the rod, and then my rod is going to connect to my magnet, and I'm going to connect this to the motor of the Traxxas, and I am going to, with the dial indicator, set it up to 0 like that, and then movement is going to be registered. The slightest amount of movement so is going to register. And if you look at the small dial here, that'll tell you how many revolutions it goes around, and then give you the smaller measurements as well. So this is going to pick up any side-to-side play that we're going to have. I'm going to go ahead and check it on the BLX motor so that we have a reference on a good motor. And then I'm going to check both my X-Maxxes to find out how much side-to-side play we're having on that gear, and if it can cause the problem that we're having with the spur gear. So I know RC Guy Garage is going to be doing this test as well, so that we can get a reference point on how bad his motor is versus how bad the one I've had for the last couple years and how bad my new X-Maxx is. And we're going to see, because, you know, without a number and without a reference point, everybody out there grabbing motors and wiggling them, you can't really tell how much movement is actually there. So with this kit, that's going to basically eliminate any of the guesswork, so that we have an accurate number to base what he's found and what I found on these X-Maxx motors. So if you're curious like we are, and you want to know how to check yours, stay tuned. Watch this video. We're going to get this thing popped out again, and I'm going to do that now, so that we can 100% know what's going on. Now I have taken this and I've pressure washed it, and even pressure washing it, you can look everywhere and there's still sand everywhere. And I let this sit overnight upside down, because this whole area in here, and you can see the water dripping over there, it was sitting upside down, but it's still leaking out from somewhere. But this will show you how much sand was actually everywhere, like in this fan area, in this motor. I mean, this fine sand gets everywhere, and mine was literally caked in here. So without blowing it apart and sticking it in his dishwasher, you really have to disassemble this thing to get every ounce of grain and salt and all this fine dust out of these things. But I didn't have them in my diffs. I did when I originally ran this thing into sand, and I blew it apart, blew all the diffs apart, cleaned everything out, and put it back together. I'm not really concerned with all this sand out here. I'm just concerned with the sand being in here and being in my diffs, which I know that they're not in my diffs, because like I said, I had a problem with the front. I went ahead and blew that apart, put the stock cover back on, because I had a hot racing diff cover there. I had some clicking noise that turned out to be the drive shaft. So with that, we're going to go ahead and flip it upside down again. We're going to take the 4 bolts and blow them off, and then the motor should slip right out. So, and that should get me set up. That should get me set up to be able to check this motor. And be very careful over tightening these 4 bolts, because if you tighten them down too far, it bends the plastic and you have a hard time getting them back in. So I do already have this cover off and washed and ready to go back in. So that's just one thing I didn't have to take off. You guys have already seen this a couple of times. But I do want to pop off this center as well. We're just going to leave these in here, but I'm going to have to flip it back over. Now the 4 front and 4 rear should be the same, and they are. I just need to be able to spread these things apart to get this center one out. Actually, I didn't even think I needed to do that. These probably could have stayed on. But look at all that sand that's still in there. God, look at, I got to show you guys all this sand. Look at that. And I've already washed this thing. Look at all the sand that's packed underneath the bottom of these diffs. So I am going to have to blow this apart and now hit this to get all these rocks and all this stuff out of here. So we'll be right back. I'm going to get everything set up onto the dial indicator, and then we'll click the video back on. Be right back. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pop out this motor too. I already got out my older motor, so now I'm going to grab the new motor. Checking to make sure both pins are still in there. Unplug the motor. Pop off the fan. There you go. There's the new motor, which has definitely got more play than the old motor. And then definitely be careful with this sensor. That's why I pry them up, so that I don't damage those sensor wires. So there's the orange one. The other one's the blue and black one. So I'm going to go ahead, you can tell which one's the older motor, the one with all the scratches. And we're going to go ahead and get these things set up. So I'll be right back. Alright, back again. It's taken me a little bit to get this set up because I had to use a clamp to keep the magnet put against this motor. So I've got it clamped, which I'll show you the rig after because I don't want to keep moving it around. Dial indicator is on 0 right now. I know I have a reflection, so I'm going to try to keep it off to the side. So here we go. So that's one way. And then if I pull the motor back, you can see how much plays the other direction. So this motor's got a lot of slop left to right, which it shouldn't have any play. So I am going to get another motor set up. This is the brand new motor. Here's the used motor. The used motor has less play than this one. The brand new motor's got a lot more play. I'll be right back. So back again, I want to show you the contraption. What's happening is the base of this is not magnetized, and putting my magnet on the can here, it keeps rocking back and forth. So this is what I came up with. I'm using a C-clamp that's strapped to the motor so that I can keep my dial indicator in the right spot, and I'm measuring off the gear. So it might be better if I pull the gear and just measure the shaft on the flat spot. I might get a more accurate reading. But what I've noticed is this is out of the orange X-Maxx. This is the brand new X-Maxx. This motor is actually, with no runs on it, has way more play than a motor that's 2 years old. This motor that's 2 years old has it has almost no movement back and forth. Now in and out, it's got movement, but side to side play, which is telling me that bearing play, it's got very little. So I'm doing my test on the brand new X-Maxx. Now this X-Maxx is 6 months old, and this motor has got play both directions. I know I've got a light reflection. I'm trying to get as much light in here, so I'm going to try to hold this at an angle and do all this. So here we go. I'm going to set this to 0 because it keeps moving. That is on 0. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's about 10. And I can push it past 10, but not only that, I can pull it. When I pull it, it's got slop the other direction too. I don't want to set my dial indicator up when I'm pulling away, because theoretically I can pull this away. But if I add, get that reflection out of there. If I add the negative numbers with the positive numbers, then I want to say about 11 to 12 on my dial indicator. So that's what I have on this motor, as best I can get a reading. Doing my, contraption like this. So just know that this motor has got a lot less. So, and this motor's got way more runtime. And I'm thinking the older motors are definitely a lot better than the new motors. I am going to get this set up in this contraption, and we'll get a reading on this as well. So I'll be right back. All right, we just finished testing my newer style motor, which is right here, less scratches on it. Here's the one that's my very used one that's got all the scratches on it. This is 2 years old. And here is my play. Let me get this set back to 0. So this one's got 4. So if that's 5, that would be half 1, half 2, half 3, half 4, half 5. So each slash is a half. So going this way, I would be half 1, half 2, half 3. So it would be 3 in that direction, half 1 and a half. So this motor would have 4 and a half, 5. All right, I just finished the test. My GoPro somehow died in the middle of it, testing the old motor. So as you can tell, that's the old motor, that's the new motor. This one's got a bunch of fine scratches on both sides. That's how I can tell. The fan's been vibrating on the inside of this thing for about 2 years. And this one, other than the scratch there from pulling off the fan this time, is relatively, clean. That's from probably putting in the screwdriver, prying it off. But as you see, this thing's got no runtime in it. So I'm gonna grab both these motors, and you can clearly see with all the grit and the grime which one is the newer one and which one doesn't have any runtime on it, you know. Even the back here, like the dirt and the grime and the sand that's in these holes, you just don't see it on the motor because, like I said, I ran this once in grass just for a video to show you guys the new X-Maxx. Never bashed it, never really jumped it, never did anything with this X-Maxx because, like I said, it was going to be my backup X-Maxx. So there's my little contraption with the C-clamp that I used, the dial indicator, to do my test. So hopefully you guys can set up yours this way. I mean, my thoughts are clearly, you can see all the dirt that gets in these things. You can't get it all out, you know, compared to this one that's just got none in it. And I've never washed this RC at all. This one I've washed a million times because it gets dirty a lot. I use the heck out of it. But hopefully this helps a bunch of people out there, and maybe we can figure out what's going on with the newer style motors, because the old motors to me seem to be a lot better. The new ones they're putting out, definitely a lot of slop in these motors. So I know RC Guy Garage is going to be doing this test, so hopefully he can set his up in a vise. As long as you clamp it down, get it clamped to the base, and get a reading off the pinion or the shaft, that should be close, and see what kind of movement he has, or anybody else that wants to perform this test. You can buy these dial indicators from Harbor Freight at an inexpensive price and at least get some sort of reading from it. So it doesn't have to be the Snap-on brand tool or, you know, the same clamp. As long as it's clamped down securely, that's all I really need. So I'm really curious on what's going on with Traxxas and these newer style motors, because I mean, I can clearly hear how much play this shaft has compared to this one. You know, there's almost no movement in this, so I believe this one is perfectly fine. This one, not fine. It's got a ton of play in it. And I think it's something like RC Guy Garage is saying, something to do with this this armature, this shaft going through here. It might be milled down too far. I don't know. Maybe their tooling was due to be replaced, and they were still cutting them. So I couldn't tell you. But I know that play, you know, in and out is normal, but side to side, it's not normal. So it's got me wondering now. And Traxxas has always done right by me. I know with RC Guy Garage, they're really, you know, making him jump through hoops to get his stuff warrantied. But a video of his problem should have been fine. But they're asking for the stuff to be returned, so hopefully he'll return it. Hopefully he'll get a new motor out, and hopefully they don't say that that's normal. Because in my eyes, that 100% is not normal. That one, yes, you got to have a little bit of play. That bearing in between, you know, the ball bearings, you got to have a little bit of play. You just have to. That way it's smooth. But to have a wiggle like that, I don't know. That thing could be moving around, you know, causing the spur to catch on the wrong part and then shatter. So, and I shattered the spur on this one. So I don't think the movement and shattering the spur caused mine to shatter, because that one doesn't have enough play to cause that. I think, you know, it was flex and a bad landing that caused that. Or rock and dirt or debris in there is getting in between there. So, or the powdered gears. But there we go, guys. Hopefully this solves and you know, eases a lot of people's minds. Hopefully RC Guy Garage will you know, calm down, get his stuff sent out, and get it back to Traxxas. You know, hopefully he doesn't let him get away with it like we all would do, and just, you know, give up and just buy another combo and put it in there. Hopefully he'll just throw something in there to get it going, get his stuff sent back, and get, you know, what he paid for, you know, back to him. A brand new RC with, you know, 2 bashes on it shouldn't have that kind of play, and mine definitely shouldn't have that play. So I will be sending mine back. I am going to call them, let them know what's going on. I'm going to send it back. If they ask for the ESC in that, I'll send them both back, because that one has no runtime on it, and we'll get it to them and see what they say. See if that's normal, or if they're going to give me a new motor. But there we go, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. We will see you guys on my next video. Thanks for watching. Like doing these kind of tests. Love solving problems. So I'm hoping this helps a bunch of people out there. And yeah, we'll see you guys on my next video. Thanks for watching.